Hey, it's Brian with Reclaimed Republic. If it's your first time here, I'm a full-time reseller and part-time YouTube content creator. I primarily sell on eBay and I sell in the everything category. So I sell toys, tools, books, cookware, clothing, you name it. If I could find profit attached to it, I'm probably going to try to sell it on eBay. If you were here for the thumbnail, we're going to talk just for a few minutes about how to know what items to source. And I'm only going to talk about it for a few minutes today because it's a pretty big topic, but just give you a couple of pointers that I use whenever I'm out sourcing. And then after that, we'll get into everything that sold over the weekend. We've got 22 sales to talk about, and there's some good ones in here. So we'll get into those just right after this topic. So I sent my first post out on YouTube. I publish videos, but you can do posts, which is just basically asking questions or just making some comments to people who might, be watching what you have to say. So I posted asking if anybody had any ideas for video topics, and I got a reply asking about knowing how to source the items that I source. And a lot of it just comes from trial and error. And in these sales today, and whenever I get into my, prior week, what sold video that'll come out on Wednesday, you'll see some mistakes that are buried in there from the trial and errors, more on the error side. So, there's a lot of trial and error. My two best friends when I'm outsourcing are Google Lens. I do not use Google Lens to comp anything. I use Google Lens when I'm trying to figure out what something is. If I see something that's interesting and I'm trying to figure out how to describe it or write a description in eBay to look it up and comp it, if I can't figure that out, I'll just snap a picture with Google Lens, and usually you're going to see listings from eBay, Poshmark, websites, a bunch of different places online, and I'll look for, 3 or 4 different listings that have a consistent description, and then I'll go to eBay. And if there's eBay listings showing up and I see that a couple have the same type description, I'll just click through the link, and then I'll go and I'll copy the title in the listing and then put it in the search bar and comp it that way. So my two best friends are Google Lens and the eBay app to comp sold items. That really helps me decide if I want to pick it up or not. I'm looking at the sell-through. I do very rough calculations. I'll look and see. I don't even look at really what is the listed prices. I don't really look at those. I'll try to kind of narrow it down. It's this used item or a new item. And if I know the size or something else specific to get it as narrow as I can, I'll do that. And then I'll look at the sold. And I'll know if it's roughly, 25%, 50%, 100%, whatever that is. And then I'll make decisions if I want to pick something up or not. And, occasionally if there's enough profit, even if the sell-through rate's a little bit lower than I'd like, it might have a 25% sell-through rate. But if the profit differential is good enough, then I'll pick it up and put it in my inventory. And then sometimes, depending on, you might be able to modify your price, promote it at a higher percentage, and get a faster sale than you would normally get on a 25% sell-through item. That's happened to me a few different times. Beyond that, just using Google and the eBay app to comp items and figure out what they are. I've talked a little bit about staying curious. Whenever I'm out and about, I always try to pay attention to things I haven't seen before and look them up. Just especially if it's really odd, if it's something that doesn't match with the other things. You see a lot of modern stuff, and you see these few old things. Like, what are these things? Or I've never seen these before. Trying to figure out what they are. I've got an item sitting right over here. Well, I'll just show it to you. This item. I saw this at Goodwill. Still got the tag on it. And I like camping. I like outdoor stuff. I like watching survival videos when people go out with their pocket knife and try to survive for a day or something. And I saw it, and I saw this little cutout. I'm like, oh, I wonder if that's like some kind of camping stove or something. But I had no idea what it was. Till it's aluminum, really lightweight. And So literally, just like this on the shelf, I Google Lensed it and saw a handful of listings and figured out it was a vintage Swiss military camping stove, cup, combo, the whole deal. It just grab this here. It comes apart. So there's your cup with handles. Got a cool little canteen inside, and then your stove. So after you put the water in your thing, you can put food or drink mix or whatever in there if you're purifying water, and just shove sticks in there, light them on fire, and then now you're heating up your cup. Pretty cool little deal. I wondered if it had any value, and this was $4.19 plus tax, so about $4.65. And they're selling on eBay with a decent sell-through rate for about $40 to $70, depending on the condition. So it's not something that I would have been looking for at all, and I found it on the big wire carts, kind of like this they have in some Goodwills. It was just full of random garage-ish outdoor type stuff, and it was just sitting there, and just wondered what the heck is that, and that's what it led to, is an item that I could pick up for $4.65, and I'm pretty confident I'm going to sell it for $40 or more plus shipping. So I've never seen one before. I may never see one again, but I happened to see it and I stopped and I looked it up, just being curious about items that I see out and about whenever I'm sourcing. In addition to that, I spend a fair amount of time watching other resellers on YouTube. And occasionally I'll actually type a note down in my phone on my notes app if it's something I don't think I'll remember. If it's a category I'm familiar with, but it's a new brand, I may just try to commit that to memory and look for it whenever I'm out and about at different places, garage sales, estate sales, thrift stores, etc. So one of the sales we're going to talk about today. So I was familiar with sewing machines like Singer's and the Pfaff sewing machines, P-F-A-F-F, because my grandmother sewed. My wife has a couple of sewing machines. She's got, I think, one Pfaff and one Singer. And so, but watching content online, I learned about the brand called Bernina. I'd never seen one before, never really heard about it, until I started seeing people talk about how valuable the parts and pieces can be off Bernina sewing machines. And people would buy like actual sewing machines and then take them apart and sell all the pieces off and make a bunch of money, or sell all the accessories. And I happened to be at an estate sale this past Saturday morning. I was walking around the house and the prices weren't awesome. It was the second day, so they were 50% off. And I saw this book sitting in a room. They didn't have a lot of books, but it was just sitting in a craft room. And I noticed that it said Bernina. It says it right up here. It says it right down here. And decided I'd look it up. Looks like some kind of a manual. I was like, I wonder if it has any value. It says Bernina on it. So I snapped a picture. I snapped that one in the eBay app. You can snap pictures in there too. I don't find them to be as accurate as Google Lens, which is why a lot of times I start there. But I snapped it in the eBay app, and I saw some listings for anywhere between $85 and $125. That kind of shocked me a little bit. And then I saw some that had sold. Now, I didn't dig into the exact number. I just saw that there was 6 or 8 listed. And I noticed like 5 or 6 or something that it sold. I was like, great sell-through rate, I'll take it, depending on the price. And I wasn't sure, because estate sales can be super wacky, depending on if they know the value of stuff or what they think the value is on stuff. So I took it up. Guy told me it was $1. I bought it as fast as I could and got it home, took pictures, got it listed up immediately. And whenever I was trying to decide my final price, I was looking at sold comps, current pricing. The best price I could find on it listed was $85 free shipping. I listed mine at $79.89 plus shipping, so roughly $85 with the shipping. Could be a little more, could be a little less, depending on where you live. And sold it overnight. Whenever I was trying to decide the price, I kind of narrowed down the search terms to find exactly that book and found out it has about a 300% sell-through rate. So if you ever see this, buy it. The funny part was I was trying to negotiate with the guy an alarm clock that they had for $2.50. I was trying to buy it for $1 because it needed a lot of cleaning, and I say a lot, 5 minutes worth of cleaning. It had a little bit of a low sell-through rate, but I thought it was cool. He wouldn't bargain with me on the alarm clock that at most would sell for $20, but sold me a $80 book for $1. Kind of funny. So I did not buy the alarm clock, by the way. So that's one example, is learning things kind of on the fly. I'd heard the name. The name was kind of stuck in my head. I think I bought one other Bernina thing in the past, but I don't see a lot of it out at estate sales. Either I don't get to it fast enough, or maybe it's just more scarce in my area. But I knew the name, looked for it, and found something really awesome. The next thing, another good example, is Pampered Chef. I've sold a handful of Pampered Chef pieces, and I think some people may look at this and go, man, this thing is so used and it's got these stains all over it, and just skip right past it. Might even look at the price and skip past it. I bought this one at a Goodwill for $8.50. The other ones that I bought them in much better condition at estate sales for $5 or less. So someone might look at that and, just thinking about Pampered Chef, go, man, that's too much for that. I know I hear a lot of resellers talk about Goodwill and their prices are so high and what the heck are they doing? And it really just depends on, what you're willing to sell things for in your profit model. This cost me $8.50. I sold it for $22.87, and I sold it in 3 days. Not a huge profit, sold it really fast. The sell-through rate on these is about 110%. So I had it marked at like $27, and it got, I didn't intend for it to, but it got caught up in my 30% off store sale over the weekend, which makes sense why it would sell pretty fast. But it would have sold probably in about 2 weeks or so, 2 to 3 weeks, at that 110% sell-through rate. So don't be scared. People don't expect to always buy these brand new looking. It's just the way they are. So I think I spent more time talking about that than I intended to. I hope that helps a little bit. I would just say, I would start with things you're comfortable with, categories you're comfortable with, and then start expanding a little bit at a time, expanding brands within the categories and then start expanding into other categories. I knew jack about cookware 6 months ago, but I started getting into it and paying attention to it, and now I'm selling a decent amount of cookware, and I kind of like the category now. It's surprisingly not boring. So I really actually enjoy it. All right, well, let's get into this week's sales, or the past weekend's sales, I should say. Sold 22 items over the weekend. On Friday, is this thing not going to work for me? I was trying to, I went ahead and shipped some items that I sold on Friday afternoon. I had somebody reach out to me. 2 different people, oddly enough, were asking if they bought something, could I get them shipped out really fast, because there were pending birthdays. And I was happy to oblige. In one case, I was actually here when the whole thing happened, here in the storage unit. And another time, I just had to come over early Saturday morning before I got my day started and get it dropped off at the post office for them. So I got a couple different items here. In the first 6 items, 5 of them I've shipped out already. So we'll take a look at those. I actually brought them up on an old tablet. It's going to take a little bit. Okay, we'll come back to those. We'll circle back to them. So I have this. This is going to show up on one of my worst sales of the week. This is a Columbia vest. This is a Omni Light or Omni Heat It's all silver inside for reflecting your heat. I picked this up for $22 at Ross and sold it for $30 plus shipping. I'm going to make some money on it, but not very much. Actually, I bought it for my son, and I thought he was going to, because he likes warm clothes, and I thought, man, he's going to love this. But he didn't like the texture, that puffy vest, he didn't like the texture of the vest. So actually, he took about, I don't know, 2 months or so to tell me that. So I couldn't take it back, and decided to go ahead and throw it up for sale, and sold it on Friday for $30 plus shipping. Next item are these vintage Ivoryite, so not ivory, but Ivoryite pocket billiard pool balls. Just a set. They're scuffed up and beat up. The box is beat up. It's really old. It's a cool little set though. Picked those up at a garage sale. It's been a long time ago. $4, and got them out the door for $17.42 plus shipping. Next item was a personal item. Picked this up for myself at Buc-ee's whenever I was traveling sales quite a bit, and I'd stop at Buc-ee's, and I thought that's so cool, and used it for a few months, and have so many other mugs that I ended up just putting it in the cabinet, forgot about it, haven't been using it, so listed it up on eBay and got it sold for $12.52 plus shipping. Next is this nail set. It's a Stanley. It's an older model Stanley 432 for setting nails. If you're doing trim work or cabinet work, it's got a little divot there. You just set your nails in so it countersinks them into the wood for your actually hammering nails. But picked that up in an estate sale for, what was that, 25 cents. Sold that for $3.49 plus shipping. Next item was a 25-cent item as well. Picked this up at a garage sale a couple months ago, maybe a few months ago. It's a GE base little night light. Whenever my lead picture on this on my listing was it plugged in and lit up in a bathroom, and then I took a really good picture of it glowing. I think that probably helped a little bit. So picked that up for 25 cents and sold that for $5.52 plus shipping. Almost all of the things down here are going to be on for my weekend sale on my store at 30% off. So a lot of lower dollar sales this weekend, but that's okay. Stuff is going out and more money is coming in. So I like that. This was a cool item. I didn't intend, I wouldn't have bought this just seeing it the way it was. But what I saw, because it was kind of propped open like this, I saw a really cool pen just kind of like sticking out of it. And I noticed the colors, they looked familiar. And it was this early 2000 or late 90s, early 2000 eBay pen. That's really like big and clunky and colorful. And I have it in my sourcing fanny pack. I use it as my pen. If I need to write anything down, that's my sourcing pen. It was inside this planner. The planner had a $1 sticker, and it was half off day. So the planner itself, with all the cool stuff inside, including the eBay pen, was 50 cents. So plus tax. So this was 55 cents. 55 cents, and sold it for $9.02 plus shipping. And it's personalized. It's got somebody's name on it. I don't know if another Michelle Jenkins bought it, but that's with the name that's on there, and I pointed it out very clearly in my pictures. But it's got cool accessories, and it's leather. It's very sturdy. This thing's about 20-ish plus years old, and it's still in great shape. It's got some scuffs, but that thing could that's gonna last. It's a good piece. Another next item that sold, something I like to sell. Probably, if you've seen any of my other videos, you may have seen these, is a Plum claw hammer. This one's a little rougher. Handle's not in great shape. Head's a little more pitted and beat up. You can tell it's a Plum. It's signature, that round face with a smooth kind of shank there. But man, look at that. They really nailed that thing, that handle. So it's pretty sturdy, but handle probably needed to be replaced, and I called that out. Picked that up for $1. at garage sale and sold it for $857 plus shipping on the sale. This next item is pretty cool. It is a set of books for the same son. He wanted these books. There's a whole set. I'm just going to pull out this one, but they're Wings of Fire, which I guess are kind of like graphic novels. And so there's 15 books. I bought them off eBay. He asked for the set, and this has been a while back. These have been sitting in our house for maybe 2 years. We bought them for him, gave them to him as a gift for his birthday, and he goes, "Oh, I really wanted hardbacks, not paperbacks." So I intended to sell them, and I completely lost the box. Found the box, and I came across it and got them listed up on eBay, and ended up selling those for $66.42 free shipping. I didn't intend for those to be in the 30% off sale either. I forgot to exclude them. I think I had them listed for like $99 or whatever it was, and $95 because I think all in I paid about $120 for the set for them. They're all brand new, sealed, and yeah, so I'll lose money on those from a personal perspective, but that's okay. Next item is this. This is the second one of these I've sold. This is a Ralph Lauren RLX. This is kind of their sport brand, sport performance brand. This is a women's hoodie. It's a green, military green color. I picked this up at a TJ Maxx for about $15, including tax. Sold it for $17.42 plus shipping. I might make money on that. It's going to be really close if I'm going to get my money back. That's the second one of those. I'm not sourcing anymore at TJ Maxx or Ross. I'm trying to get rid of any of that stuff that I've sold and just get it out of here. So luckily those are all gone now. Next item is just a saucepan lid. This is for a Permanent stainless steel. Permanent is the brand, not just saying that it'll last forever, although they're really heavy duty, so it might. Just a little, it's like a 5.5 inch saucepan lid. Picked this up for $1 at a thrift store and $1.15, and sold it for $6.92 plus shipping. This one was pretty cool. This little Holly Hobby, this little vintage Aladdin brand thermos. I don't remember when this one was from. It's pretty old, but yeah, I don't see a year. But it's a little Holly Hobby thermos. It's complete. It's got the lid. It's got the other lid. It's clean. I mean, it's got some wear on it because it's old, but I picked it up for $1 at an estate sale, and I ended up selling it for $6.22 plus shipping. Glad to see that go out the door. And circling back, so to this book here, this Bernina book, it's in really good shape. This one, it's a 2015 publication. It has an original price tag of $99 on it, but picked that up for $1. Sold it for $79.89 plus shipping, and sold it in about, I don't even know if it was 12 hours. It wasn't 12 hours. It's probably about 9 or 10 hours. Let's see, this cassette case. This one's taken a while. This is a hard one to photograph because it's super boring, and it's just kind of a boring thing. But picked up this cassette case at an estate sale for $1. I picked it up because it is for cassettes, and they don't really make stuff for cassettes. So picked it up for $1. Sold it for $6.22 plus shipping. Glad to see that one go out the door. This next item was a little bit of a surprise. I picked up at a church sale a drafting set. It's a pretty good size drafting set made in Germany. Lots of cool tools. And in it, I found some A.W. Faber lead holder pencils, which I've already sold that set plus the lead for like $23, $24. I picked up the whole thing, I think, for $5, I believe, for the whole set. Sold the 2 pencils by themselves for $24. And then this was in there as well. Just kind of, the case wouldn't close because the pencils were in there and this was in there, and it was just kind of sandwich closed. But this is a vintage slide rule. So Frederick Post Versalog slide rule with the leather case. I signed a cost to it of $1 and sold it for $38.42 plus shipping over the weekend. I was glad to see that one go. Good return on that one, $1 into $38.42. Next up, I skipped one. I didn't mean to do that. It's sitting right here too. I was just about to move it and realized I skipped it. It's the Beer Hunter with a little beer can opener, but it's just a camo hat. It's not a great brand. I don't know what the brand is actually. It's CSI. I have no idea what that is, but I picked it up at Love's. I got a whole bunch of hats I picked up for 95 cents a piece. That's after tax, so 95 cents a piece, including tax, and got them listed up. Sold this one for $6.92 plus shipping. I think I've got them all listed for $9.89. So then come back to the Pampered Chef. That one sold. That one was $8.50 including tax at Goodwill, and that one sold for $22.87 plus shipping. The only not fun part about selling Pampered Chef is I boxed it up twice. So I usually make or kind of wrap cardboard around it from two ways as kind of a homemade box or extra packaging. And then I wrap that and pad around it and put it in an actual box, so there's not a good chance of it breaking. I've not had any broken pieces, so they've all gotten to where they need to go, no problem. Sold a 1.5 quart Revereware saucepan. This is a pre-1968. You can tell it's got the handles in the screws in the handle, and it's got the double ring there. On the bottom, it's hard to tell because I have it saran wrap, but there you go. It's a good one. So it's got the double ring around the logo. It's a definite pre-1968. Good piece. Picked that one up for $3.20 at a Goodwill and sold it for $10.42 plus shipping on the sale. Let's see if I can get these other items up here that I already shipped. I'm using an old tablet that was my son's to get the I saved the pictures on here so I could flip them around because I'm videoing on my phone. I couldn't flip the phone. I can't show them on the phone because I'm videoing on the phone, but see if we can get a good picture of them here. This thing is slow as molasses. There we go. So this was an interesting sale. I had a guy, he messaged me about the second item from the top and said, hey, I saw it listed and you sent me this offer, super cheap offer. And he goes, would you mind testing it for me? And a lot of people might think $4.50 item, I'm not testing that. You're going to buy it or you're not going to buy it. I was going to be in the storage unit anyhow, popped some batteries in, flashed it a couple times, it worked, shot him a message. He goes, great. I'm also looking at this other item you have. Does it work? And I was like, and I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, it works. Okay, great. He goes, and I've got a couple of mugs here. You think you can give me a deal on the whole deal? And so he ended up buying, so one buyer bought all 4 items. There were 4 transactions and he did ask for combined shipping. So I was happy to do that. Gave him a refund after I got it shipped out. And it was a pretty big refund because shipping didn't cost much more for all 4 items than it did for just one item because they're all small, lightweight. But so for all 4 items, I've got $1.50 into all 4 items. So I have 20 cents into each one of the mugs, and I have 55 cents into each one of the flashes. So $1.50 turned into $28 and $27.28. So $1.50 into $27.28 plus shipping. So he covered all the shipping and I just refunded him to the difference. It was a really, really good transaction. Really nice guy. Some of it was personal use, and the mugs he was buying for his daughter for her birthday. So that's really cool. She collects mugs. And then this item here, I shipped out as well. They messaged me on Friday night and said, "Hey, if I buy this, will you get it shipped out on Saturday? It's for a birthday present," and I was happy to do that. So it's a Versace Parfums Pink Medusa Head Cosmetic Bag. It's something you get for free as one of those giveaways when you buy perfume at, like a Macy's or Dillard's or something like that. And I'd had it for a while. I picked it up for $1 at a estate sale, and they paid $6.92 plus shipping. And I got it out Saturday morning. So that's really it for all the sales over the weekend. 22 items sold. A lot of low value items, but again, that stuff has to move out as well. And this week was a little different with the 30% off sale. I'd been doing 20% off. I did that a couple times. Last weekend, I tried 17% off to see what the action would be like. This week with 30% off, definitely got more sales. Again, it was on a lot of lower price items, but that's okay. I wanted to see what's the tipping point where sales really pick up at the actual discounted price versus, having to wait and just start sending offers to watchers on Monday morning and see what comes in, which I've got about 25 offers out as well. So there's probably still going to be some sales rolling in from people looking at the items that they didn't actually buy over the weekend. So I'll be trying another sale next weekend and just see how that one goes. But yeah, that's about it for now. I really appreciate you watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those down below. And I hope you have a great day.